Salsola tragus, commonly referred to as the tumbleweed, is a common sight in American movies and other media, as well as being a common sight outdoors, with only 2 states not having it in their borders. Tumbleweeds are heavily associated with America, primarily the western regions of it. But what if I told you tumbleweeds aren't actually from the USA, or even North America? In fact, they are a heavily invasive species native to the other side of the world, coming from Russia. You probably wonder how they got here and became so widespread, but in order to properly understand, you must know what Salsola tragus, or the tumbleweed, is. In its early stages of life in spring, the tumbleweed starts off relatively soft, being edible by animals, but after its early stages, it quickly becomes a large, prickly ball, where up to 250,000 seeds grow on it. But all of this isn't too astounding. The magic of the tumbleweed is how it disperses its seeds. After the first freeze of winter, the tumbleweed dies, and shortly after that, on a windy day, it will break off from its roots and start tumbling along with the wind. As it bounces off the ground and other objects, the seeds fall off, allowing for more tumbleweeds to grow throughout the path it traveled next spring. But that isn't the only crazy part with the tumbleweed. The other part is that the tumbleweed can grow in extremely arid locations, alkaline and saline soils, and manually cleared land or land void of vegetation. Remember these things that are special with the tumbleweed because they will be important for how it became so widespread. Now to the story. How did the tumbleweed get to North America? And why is it everywhere in the country? Well, we must start in Bonham County, South Dakota, in 1877, where the little more than decade-old county was importing flaxseed from Ukraine, which was owned by the Russian Empire at the time. In a shipment of flaxseed, a single or multiple tumbleweed seeds were inconspicuously hidden amongst the flaxseed, and the seeds made their way into a farmer's field. By using its superpowers, the tumbleweed 1 was able to quickly spread across the cleared and relatively flat prairie ground of the West using its power of traveling by the wind, and 2 was able to grow much easier than any other plant in the clear lands of developing farms as Americans spread westward. By 1881, the United States Department of Agriculture had been made aware of the tumbleweed's presence and promptly declared it an invasive species. By the 1900s, the tumbleweed had made it to California and hasn't slowed down since, despite numerous attempts to control it. From pesticides to introducing a natural predator of the tumbleweed, no attempt to stop the tumbleweed has worked. But you may think, why is the tumbleweed such a problem? Well, if you live anywhere west of the Mississippi, you probably already know. There is a lot of them. They are spiny and very flammable. All of these things make them not just an introduced plant, but an extremely invasive one. But don't take my word for it. Take the word of this person.
A lot of people don't realize that tumbleweeds are actually very sharp. All I could think of is how hurt they were getting pelted by tumbleweeds.
Maybe this person.
It's like a sick video game, right? Life in the desert.
In all, ever since the tumbleweed was introduced to the USA, it's been a nuisance to the people it cohabitates with, from injuring farmers and livestock with its thorns, to making a dangerous environment on the road, to helping fires spread.